Now, for us to begin to connect our PostgreSQL to Python, there are some packages, or let me say there's a package you have to install, and that package is called the Cycle PG2. Now, I believe you have Python installed in your system. Please ensure you install Python to your system. This is not a Python class, and I wouldn't want to go through the whole process of installing Python to your Windows or your Mac. Now, having your Python installed, you also ensure that you have this pip installed. So check the version of your pip and pip to say, because this is what you basically be using to run installation of packages in Python. So one of the packages you'll be using is the CyclePG2. Now, write pip install CyclePG2. So once you run that, we would have this Python download the package for us. So after doing that, you can begin to write something like this, like import this. So let's copy this out first and paste it here. So we want to import this package to Jupyter Notebook. So once we run this, we successfully imported the package. Now the next step for us to do is to create a connection. So we want to create a connection with the PostgreSQL. So how do we create connection in PostgreSQL? We have to write connection here, conn, right? So that is our variable connection, and then we write pg, which is the pg2. Remember that we gave an alias here as this, so this is what we'll be using. So .connect .connect connect. So .connect, then we provide database. So we have our database, and the database we are going to be providing is you can pick any of the database. I think let's check one of our database we have is learning. So let's pick the database, and then what is going to be our user? Our user by default is Postgre. All right, and then we also have a password, and then the password is equal to a variable which we are going to declare here, and I'm going to be saying secret to 1234 1234. So that's the password to my database which I created. So that's the password to this user Postgres. Now I'll send this to secret. So I'm going to be keeping it secret here. So now we can execute this query. So it says secret not defined. So this is because I did not run this cell. So let me run this cell, and then let's go over and run it again. So that means our connection is okay. So now we have to establish connection and start what is called a cursor to be ready to execute query. So how do we do that? So we let's say establish connection and start cursor to be ready to query. QERI to be query. So what you now basically do is to call a variable called cur, and then you write connection dot cursor, that's dot cursor, and then let's run this, open and close. Let's run this. So we have this. So the next thing is for us to pass in a PostgreSQL query in as a string. So we are going to be executing this. Execute. So we can write a statement like the select statement. So select, let's say everything from, and if you check the pgadmin in the learning database, we have, let's check one of the tables we have here, like the account. Now let's put in the account there. From account, okay, it's note you have to enclose this. Don't forget to enclose this here. So select everything. That's all the columns from the account. So let's run this, and let's return a tuple of the first row using the Python object. So how do we do this? We write the cursor.fetch1, tchone. So fetch one method. So you run this. Now we successfully connected the Python to PostgreSQL, and we've established the connection, and we'll be able to write a query to fetch everything from this account. And if we copy the same thing and then we go to pgadmin, then using this learning query tools, if we happen to paste this here, let's paste, and then we run this query. So we can see that we have 3 different records from this table, right? That's the account table. Now what we did here, we simply said fetch only one. Now what Python did is it went into here and then picked the first one, that is David DK. As you can see here, David DK, and then this is a Gmail. So we can also return the n number of rows. And how do we do that? We write cur, that is our cursor variable that we declared, and then we say fetch many, okay, and then we provide the number of rows we want to display. Let's just say 3, and if we run this query, I think we have about 3, so let's say 4 here first. So let's run this. I don't think we have up to 4, so let's say 3. So now if you say fetch many and run this, so we have number 2 and number 3. Remember, we already fetched the first one, so it's not going to be fetching anymore. So we now left with 2 and 3. So we now have the full record, which is 1, 2, 3. If we confirm from here about 1, 2, 3, the second is Amarachi and Grace. And then we have the Amarachi and Grace here. And we can also fetch everything, that is fetching all or returning all the rows at once. So what you basically do, let's delete this. Okay, let's run this. You have to run the select again. In this case, we say fetch all, that is fetch everything. And once you run this query, that is by clicking on run, we now have everything selected from our table account. Okay, now after that, you would have to kill the kernel, that is by closing the Jupyter. So how do we do this? That's we want to close the connection. Usually use the connect, that's CONN, and that's the variable that we declared, and then we write the close method. So once you do this, let's run this. So what happened here is that we successfully closed the connection between Python and then the PostgreSQL. So it means any code you are writing here, for example, if we want to run this query, that is, we are going to be having issues because our cursor is already closed after running this connection close. So this is basically how we can connect PostgreSQL with Python. So thank you so much. I really hope that you got value, and see you some other time.